The Cabin on Hollow Lake. Michael had never believed the stories about Hollow Lake. He had grown up hearing whispers about people disappearing, strange lights glowing over the water at night, and an eerie humming that could be heard just before dawn. But legends were just that, legends. So when his old college friend Daniel invited him and a small group up to his family's secluded cabin for a weekend getaway, Michael didn't hesitate. A break from the city sounded perfect. It wasn't until they arrived deep in the woods, miles from the nearest town, that Michael felt the first stirring of unease. The cabin was old, older than it should have been. The logs were darkened with age, the windows covered in a thin layer of grime. But it wasn't the cabin itself that bothered him. It was the lake. It was too still. The surface was chakrasix. Glassy, unmoving, even though the trees around it swayed with the wind. No ripples, no fish jumping, no sound of water lapping against the shore. Just silence. That first night, they built a fire and drank, laughing and telling stories. Daniel brought up the legend of Hollow Lake, grinning as he spoke. "They say the water isn't natural," he said, "that something lives under it, something old." Michael rolled his eyes. "Come on, man, you don't actually believe that?" Daniel shrugged. "I don't, but my grandfather did. He used to say, if you hear the humming, it means it's watching you." "The lake?" Jessica, one of the girls, asked with a nervous laugh. "No," Daniel said. "What's beneath it?" Michael didn't believe in ghost stories, but he couldn't sleep that night. Something about the silence outside felt oppressive, unnatural. At around 3 a.m., he woke up needing to use the bathroom. The cabin had no plumbing, so that meant stepping outside. He grabbed a flashlight and headed for the tree line. The night was too quiet. Then he heard it, a low, vibrating hum. Not from the trees, not from the wind, from the lake. It started soft, barely a whisper beneath the stillness. Then it grew louder, resonating in his chest, making his bones feel like they were vibrating. Michael turned toward the water. A figure was standing at the edge of the lake. He froze. The flashlight beam trembled in his hands as he tried to focus on it. It wasn't Daniel, or Jessica, or anyone from the cabin. It was wrong. Tall and thin, its arms too long, its fingers nearly touching the ground. Its head tilted slightly, as if listening. Its skin was pale, almost translucent, like something that had never seen sunlight. Then it took a step forward. Michael's breath hitched. He wanted to run, but he couldn't move. The humming grew louder, pressing against his skull. Then the thing's mouth stretched open. No teeth, no tongue, just a gaping black void. Michael stumbled back, barely managing to tear his gaze away. He sprinted toward the cabin, his legs heavy, his body screaming at him to move. Faster! Behind him, the humming stopped. He burst through the door, slamming it shut and locking it. His heart hammered against his ribs as he backed away, his breath ragged. The others woke up, groggy and confused. "Michael, what the hell?" Daniel grumbled. "There's something outside," Michael gasped. "By the lake." "I saw it." Jessica frowned. "Saw what?" Michael opened his mouth to explain. But then he noticed something. The window was open. A long, pale hand reached through the gap. Michael barely had time to scream before the lights went out. The next morning, the cabin was empty. The police found no signs of a struggle. No footprints, no bodies, nothing missing except the people who had been inside. The only clue left behind was a single muddy handprint on the window pane. and by the edge of the still, silent lake. 5 sets of footprints, walking straight into the water. Would you spend a night by Hollow Lake? Let me know in the comments. Don't forget to like, share, and follow for more terrifying stories. Ocean Eye.